guys watch the streams here for me? See if they're coming in. We're up and running. Hey!
Hey, we there?
You guys can see, I can see YouTube, no problem. Facebook has done the same thing. It's hung up for me, but Mike's keeping an eye on, so that's great. Okay,
Right.
And Paul, you're going to have YouTube under control?
I don't see it yet.
Okay, should pop up there momentarily.
Yeah, I'll wait for it.
Alrighty. Hey, good evening, everybody. And welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Hey! Hey!
What's the guy's name? Gonzo? On the Muppets? With a big long nose?
Was it Gonzo? Yeah, Gonzo, yeah.
Gonzo. I was listening to the NHL hockey channel, and between, segments when they're filling stuff in, they all have those guys that say, "Oh man, he's gonna shoot this guy!" And like, for you, Gonzo. You listen to it sometime, anyway.
Well, the nose fits. The nose fits anyway. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Hey, okay, we're up on Facebook. I see. Okay, good. Seeing comments coming in. That's great. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. My name is Chris Kerwin of Astronomy by the Bay. First of all, I'd like to welcome back our regular co-host, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshot Observatory in Hampton, New Brunswick.
Hey,
Paul. Hey.
Hello.
And Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Hey.
Hey.
And you're going to notice a fourth secret guest here with us tonight. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, something a little different. Setting up equipment under the night sky can be very confusing at first, but there are those of us who can help you along the way. I'm an observer myself who likes to use simple Alt-Az mounts. These guys know that. That little green one that's in the background up there is my little favorite. That's because I peek at the night sky more than I do with my equipment. Anyway, for me, I have a really difficult time with equatorial mounts. I've only ever owned one. Actually, that one on the right-hand side I picked up for $10 off a Kijiji. Probably paid $5 too much for it, but anyway, I got it for something to learn on. But tonight we're going to take a look a little bit better at equatorial mounts. Those are the style with the big counterweights that you see most times in department stores.
Oh, sorry, that's me. I can't find that. There it is.
There we go. Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, tonight Mike and Paul are going to help me take the mystery out of setting one up, hopefully for you as well. I'm going to learn right along with you as I set up my equipment outside and walk through the steps that they suggest, from leveling and balancing the mount to polar alignment. Level. I think I know where that is. Okay. Almost. What am I forgetting? Anyway, we're going to cover the other topics as well, like lining your finder up with your eyepiece, controlling dew on your scope. We're maybe talking about that next week because I don't know how far we're going to get this week. Anyway, this is week one of about 3 weeks anyway of talking about setting up your equipment. We might get into talking about some imaging as well and maybe processing. We'll see how the weeks go along, but lots of stuff here to talk about for sure. Bino Bud's going to be back with us again tonight with another binocular target of the week. Yay! We'll also have another interesting Rosanna's Fun Fact segment, and of course we have a pile of your wonderful photo submissions to share. So happy to get all these. I think it's almost 30 photos to share.
Wow. Pile?
That's a pile. That's a big pile. Okay, so sit back, folks, and grab your favorite beverage or snack, and both if you want, and girlfriend or wife or whatever. And remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast. So if you have any questions about the night sky, and especially setting up equipment, we're going to be happy to try to answer them here for you. So let's get started with tonight's program. And what I got to do now is sign off here and go downstairs, right? While these two guys keep you company until I get downstairs, turn up the volume, and stand in front of that tripod. Right, guys?
Okay,
so I'll do that.
Suck your tummy in.
What's that?
Suck your tummy in. You're on TV.
Tummy. Oh yeah, that thing. I'm not used to sucking it in. Okay, let me. I'm going to pin myself here first. So actually, I'm going to pin that one. So the mount is up in there, and I'm going to mute my microphone here. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to make sure I can still hear you.
Yes, we can chat.
Okay.
Mike the mute. Not the mime.
The mime, yeah. Always wondered if they clean windows.
Wax on, wax off. Oh my goodness. He's got a little journey, doesn't he?
He does.
Yes. Down 17 flights of stairs. Across
Through the kitchen, over 3 cats.
Oh, there he is. There's James Taylor. Yeah. He's going to sing us a song, too.
Can't wait.
Yes. What are you going to sing us, James?
Fire and Rain.
All right. There you are.
Hey!
Hey, you're back. Good to see you, James.
Oh, I forgot the level. Just a sec. Right back.
Should see him at a star party.
That's why he parks the car so close.
Exactly. That's why I built a trailer. Everything stays.
That's right. Yeah. You know, it's in one box.
I know I was looking up a list of what you should take with you when you go out for a night of observing. And the lists getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I thought, man, by the time you're done, why don't you just, pack up your house and take it with you?
Yeah. I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh, it's nuts.
And then you get, a couple of 100 miles away, and then it's like, oh, I forgot
something
thing that I should have taken.
My batteries.
Yeah. I remember once, as a matter of fact, you came to the rescue for me. It was one of the SCT adapters to put on your VSCT visual back.
Oh, visual back, yeah.
You could slide stuff into it, and I forgot mine, and you had one, so.
I try to keep extras just in case.
Yeah, it worked.
Nice pose.
Hey.
Yeah. James.
All set. Okay, let's get started.
All right.
All right. So you're going to set up a German Equatorial Mount.
Okay.
Yours is what? The LXD 75 by Need?
The LXD 75, yes.
Pretty white thing.
Pretty white thing. So first up, I guess, is level the mount.
Well, yeah, you want to make sure it's level. Absolutely. If you don't have a bubble level built into it, do you know how to use it?
We never level things at the beach, Mike, so I'm not quite sure.
There you go.
I probably should have it pointed north first and then level it, maybe. No?
Well, yeah, there's 2 ways of doing it. Number one, there's a pin on the top.
Yep.
If that pin lines up with a leg, or does it line up in between 2 legs?
It lines up with the leg.
Good. Then you can take that leg and point that leg to the north.
Okay, so I got a little tiny compass here. The north is there. So, spins around. Oops.
Now we're faking it a little bit because you can't see the North Star. It's not dark enough yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it as close as we can. Now, if you're relatively north, here's a part that's going to toss you. In your area, because are we looking for magnetic north? Does that line up with the North Star magnetic north or the North Star?
No. Well, Polaris is slightly off magnetic. That's geographic north, right?
Yeah. Well, we can adjust it after we get, you can look through the polar scope to find it. We'll get it put together. But yeah, you want it relatively as north as you can get.
Okay. I'm at north right now.
Perfect.
There's the pin sitting at the leg. Okay.
Yeah. And you want to level it. Now you want to make sure that your legs are spread out all the way. So when you do go to put the head on and stuff, it's not going to
Tripod legs, though, right? We're talking tripod legs?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's a family show now.
You just doing that, you see how much it moved.
Yeah, so I'm going to adjust that back down. Ballpark it. Right there, thank you. Is that right?
Bubble in the middle, right?
Yeah, bubble in the middle. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Awesome. You're tight, so when you put any weight on it, it's not going to slide.
A little bit more, maybe. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Hey. Yep.
Perfect. So now you're level and you're pointed north.
Yes.
All right. You're going to start putting your mount together.
Okay.
So you're going to grab the mount head, for lack of a better term.
Okay, so the mount head.
Now, in the front of that, there should be a slot that sits over
Right
that
there.
pin. Yeah, that sits right over that pin. Make sure you got a space there, so open those two knobs up.
Okay.
And it should sit nice and steadily on there.
It does.
Excellent.
Have that lined up so it's lined up with the leg, I guess.
Yeah, just snug those two knobs up so that holds steady while you go to get your tripod spreader and bar.
Okay, so tripod spreader and bar is here.
You want to slide that up underneath and make sure you get that nice and snug. And pieces falling all over the place. It's a good thing we're not doing it in the dark.
Okay, the washer goes on here first. Nope, the rod goes in
No,
first.
washer goes on second.
1 second. The center is a.
Make sure you get your spreader in the right spot before you tighten it up.
Yeah. Oh. Like.
Nice and snug.
Yep.
And it didn't move. Perfect.
Hey!
Hey, so far so good.
That's good.
So
So now I'm gonna.
your RA and DC or your RA or your DEC drive, is that plugged into the side? Because some of them come unplugged. You want to make sure it's plugged in.
Yep. Okay.
And you want to make sure, do you have a graduation on the side that tells you the angle that the head's pointed at?
Yep.
And
So 40 degrees right now, 42 degrees.
okay, we want it set for about 45 degrees because that's
Okay,
where
so
we're
I'm
at.
turn in on,
Milledgeville.
turn in on that side. Turn out on the other one. Okay.
We can fine tune that when you go to polar line, but roughly 45 degrees.
Okay.
That's what it is in my backyard, and you're only a stone's throw away anyway. All right.
Okay.
Everything's nice and tight so far?
Yep. All good.
Perfect. You want to add your counterweight bar.
Okay. Right here. Counterweight on it.
I always put it on and then put the counterweight on. It makes it easier to screw, but okay.
Yeah, that'd be, well, that's got a screw on the bottom. Do that.
That is called a toe saver
Yeah, I can see why.
for a good reason.
Okay, take the counterweight off for a second. The rod's going up into the bottom. I'll tighten that up.
Yeah, make sure that's nice and tight. You don't need it falling down on you.
Now I can put the weight on.
Perfect. Now we put the weight on. You can stick it anywhere on there and then put the toe saver back on.
There's a little rod that sits in the center, but if you tilt it a certain way, the rod drops out of the way, I guess. Eh?
Yeah. Be careful though. Some of those pins are a little short. They'll fall through the hole, and then they end up in the ground in the middle of the night. And you never find them.
Oh, okay.
I've replaced them with cut nails many times.
Yeah, that would work. Okay.
Right now it doesn't matter where your counterweight sits because we're gonna move it and adjust it anyway.
The toe stopper's on there now.
So that's the 90% of it. Let's get your optical tube.
Okay. This is the 8-inch optical tube for the SE mount normally, but now
that's a Vixen mount, so it's
So it's got to go this way
No.
or that.
Turn it the other way. Yeah. You want the wires facing you so they're not crossing anything, and then tighten it up.
Sit up in there.
Now you just want to get it on there. We're going to adjust it for balance a little later.
Got 2 locking knobs, one for safety must be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Large one tightens it up, and the small one's like a safety if you knock the big one loose. Now you're going to start adding any accessories that you have, like a finder scope, a diagonal, a dew shield.
Let's dig into that stuff.
All that good stuff.
Dew shield. We brought that out here, I thought. Maybe I did. Let's close this case up here first. So finder scopes are there. I'll do the 9x50 maybe.
You're like James Bond with his little gadget kit.
Oh, I love that. You gotta love suitcase. Okay, just bear with me for a second. I think I gotta grab the new shield.
Yep.
Second way.
While he's getting that, just kind of, we'll just kind of cover what we've done so far to where we are at this point. So basically, he's taken his tripod out and he's put it on the ground, and then he's taken the little knob on the tripod and pointed that as best as he can north,
Right.
and then he used his compass to find basically magnetic north, and then from that point, if you're using the compass, then you take it back by, I think you mentioned 12 degrees, Mike? Was that what it was?
16.3 now.
16.3 degrees back to the right, to the left, and then that'll put you right on true north. And then while he's on true north, and he's leveled up his mount, then he's put on his, he actually put the mount on the tripod legs.
Yep.
And put the tray and bolted into the mount. And then he put on his counterweight bar, and that bar that goes on the front is what he's going to do a balancing thing with. And then after he put the counterweight bar on, he took his OTA, which is optical tube assembly, and is using a Smith Cassegrain, an 8-inch one on this particular system, and mounted that on his mount. Then he took his finder scope and put the finder scope on. Chris, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you tilt your camera up just a little tiny bit?
Sure.
And then I'm going to put it back to Mike. I was just doing a recap.
Yep. Still getting all the parts and pieces put together here.
Okay, there?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep, that looks good.
So I got 2 inch to 1.25 here. I use 1.25 diagonal. I got 2 inch pieces, but it's 2 inches.
Yep, right on.
It's a twist lock on it. Kind of nice because you don't have to play with the rings. Okay, and I'll throw a
Excellent.
40mm eyepiece in it. There.
All right. Well, now we want to balance your scope in 2 directions.
Right.
We want to make sure that when you roll it on the RA axis, that it's balanced. So undo the RA and
That'd be the
Set
top
your-
one up by. Up
No,
by
it's the
scope.
the bottom one,
Okay.
because that's
Here.
where it rotates. Yeah, and you want to make sure that that is balanced. So you have to move your counterweight around and slide her up a little bit. And what this is doing is just taking the weight of the system off the gears. And you still got a little bit. Makes the motors work a whole lot less hard if it's balanced properly.
Much.
Still got to slide her up the shaft a little more, I think.
Yeah, you're OTA heavy right now.
Yeah. Move it about an inch. There you go. Now flip it the other way. Flip it to the other side, all the way over to the other side.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
That looks pretty good.
Hey,
Oh, a little bit, but not bad. All right, so set that to center and lock it.
read over the leg again.
Yeah, just the one you unlock to make that rotate, lock it back up.
Okay.
And now you're going to go with the declination access. You got to unlock it and balance your optical tube on there. The same way, you have to slide it forward or back. You're front heavy, so it's got to come back a little bit.
That's in the other position.
Now with that one, it's always easiest to loosen the small knob first and then the big knob a little bit. Your still nose heavy a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotta slide back a little more.
Always make sure you got a good grab on it when you loosen
Yeah.
those bolts off.
Do it on the. You should actually point it upwards and then just slide it front and back, because you don't want to take a chance of it falling over sideways. If it's there, it's only going to do one or two things. It's going to slide back or push forward. Oh, you want to go back. Your nose heavy.
Oh,
That's the thing with a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, is that the majority of the weight is on the back with those, because you've got your mirror cell, the mirror, the diagonal, and he's got a good size finder scope on it. So it's going to be typically back heavy, but you'll find that balance point anyway.
Yeah. You just got to keep moving it until you get it adjusted so it doesn't take off on you.
Yep.
And again, what that's doing is it's taking the work off the motors and gears.
go back heavy, eh?
Yeah, you're going to find too with an SCT that because the finder scope is so large on that,
Yeah.
you're actually weighted more on one side of that.
On one side than the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could put a smaller finder scope on, yeah.
Well, you want to just get it as close as you can to balance.
That's right.
Well, I just wanted to point out that I haven't given up hope on the concert yet.
You know what you should do is when you go see him, have a conversation and ask him if he'd like to come look through your telescope down at the beach.
There you go.
Well, he's going to be in Moncton, but there's a spot in Moncton I'm sure to take him.
Well, take him down to the moat, the Chocolate River they call it.
Yeah, down there.
Chocolate River. Oh, that seems pretty good.
That looks good.
If you're happy with that.
And undo your right ascension clutch now too, and make sure you can put it in an angle. It should stay there by itself.
Yeah. Move it around. Make sure it's nice and balanced. There you
That's
go.
good. That looks good.
Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. It might twist a little bit because of that finder scope,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, okay, that's what's doing that. All right.
It's not going to hurt it any. It's not like it's really going to fight.
Okay.
yeah, I would say you're
All right.
pretty darn close.
Lock it back up.
Cool. Okay.
Now, if you haven't at this point, this is where you would like to plug in your hand pad at least.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a battery pack here. So I got the Nautilus 33 ampere hour battery pack. The entire job.
Those battery packs come in handy, man.
At the beach and you happen to get a flat tire.
Yeah. Or if a boat needs a red and a green light.
Or a boost.
I know what it is. I got the wrong power, Mike.
The wrong power cord?
Yep.
Well, you don't want to do that at the start party either.
No. I had it in here with the bag. Just a sec. Probably left it with it. It's a hand pad for sure. Got a mount here for the hand pad. How are we doing for time, guys?
27 after.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I got to plug that in, but I've got to go quickly grab the cord. Crap. Oh, they got it right here. I think it's in the case. The mount case. Just a second.
So we set it up, leveled it, pointed it north, put the counterweight on, put the optical tube on, got the accessories, got it balanced.
Yep.
Plugged it in the hand pad, and hopefully plug it in the battery here soon.
So, so now it's just a matter of orienting the scope. Is that what we're going to do next?
Yeah, I'd like to point it at a terrestrial object and line up the finder scope with the optical tube. So you use telephone pole, tree,
Yep. Okay.
something.
Yeah, okay. This is my tripod bag. Or should have been. Or should be. Any questions there yet, or you guys are answering them?
Well, there's lots of conversations about magnetic declination, but when I looked it up this morning, it was 16.3 degrees to the west, which is negative 16.3 degrees if you choose.
Right. That changes, by the way, just for those who are using a compass. It's not the same all the time.
Right.
It does change.
Hey, and we're live.
All right. Now, the next thing you'll want to do, Chris, is line up your finder scope with your telescope. Do you want to find a telephone pole or?
Okay, we're going to simulate that, are we? That we're doing that?
Well, you can spin around. I see you got trees there, as long as you can focus on something.
What eyepiece do you have in there, Chris?
Right now I got a 40 millimeter.
Perfect. Start with your widest field eyepiece.
Whoop, whoop.
It's alive!
Hey, that's cool. I'll be butting my back to you though. There's a cell tower over in the distance over there, but let me find something.
You want to go the other way.
I can learn how to go.
Is the cell tower your furthest thing away?
What's that?
Is the cell tower the furthest thing away?
Yeah, but it's almost, the scope has to be almost horizontal to get it.
Oh, okay. Because with that magnification that you got there, even 40 millimeters, it's wide, but it's still 2,000 millimeter focal length.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to go as far, if you choose the furthest away object that you can.
That's going to put me at a weird angle, isn't it?
Well, no, that's why you want to spin it around the other way, on the other side of your, go past the meridian all the way around the other side.
Okay. What?
Go the opposite direction of what you just did, all the way around.
And hit your declination too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Try to move them both all the way around.
Those were noisy little fellas, weren't they?
Yeah, it keeps the bugs away.
Yes, it keeps the critters in the woods.
Yeah, rotate. There you go. You rotate your optic tube all the way around, and that'll put you in a better position to find that cell tower. Well, they are noisy. Now, can you slow the speed down on that one the same way you do with the Celestrons? Or set the motor speed?
Never mind. I won't chew up too much time here, guys.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, we're good.
Ow! Yeah.
What I call an eyepiece.
Pull that thing down.
Good thing there's a rubber on it, eh? Boink.
Oh, there you go. Come on. Come on, you're there. Just clear them. There. Too far over. That tree. And go over that. There it is.
Okay, now.
That's in the finder. We want to find it in the optical tube first.
Yeah, just want to try to close though, right?
Yeah, should be.
Nope. Fine. The finder's seen it, but the scope isn't because it's down below my deck.
Oh, the finder's above the.
Oh.
Try to top of the tree.
That's why my pier is 52 inches tall in my observatory, so I don't look at the wall.
I got something else over here to look at. You know, let's try to top of this tree. It's fairly distant.
Yeah, as long as you get something. I've been bugging him to bring that one to the beach and we'll practice.
Yes.
That's what I need.
It sounds like it needs a little workout.
Okay. Pretty close.
Okay, so what he's doing is actually focusing his eyepiece on whatever it is he's focusing on. He's probably going to have to change that when he actually goes to a target, because with that focal length, he's actually going to be coming way back in to be able to see something that close. So
that'll get him on target, though.
yep, it'll get the optics lined up. That's all it's meant to do.
Okay.
Perfect.
Top of the tree. Yep.
So can you describe what you're doing, Chris, now?
I'm lining my finder by turning two screws. So I got the object that I want in my eyepiece, centered in my eyepiece, and now I'm aligning my finder with two screws. So one screw's going back and forth and one's up and down.
Yep.
That's going to place my finder on the same target as my eyepiece is. Pretty well right there now. So now when I look at my finder, I see the same object in my eyepiece.
If we were using a red dot or a Telrad, we'd do the exact same thing, no difference.
Right.
Find it in the eyepiece.
I can turn on the porch light. It's too dark here.
Is it dark? Doesn't look it.
Yeah, we can see you clearly as anything, yeah. That phone's nice and sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so so that I think would be to the point where you would do your polar alignment next. But I think based on the time what we have right now, I think we'll do that next week.
Yeah. Okay.
So you want to just quickly go over what you did there, if you can remember it.
Yeah. So we leveled the tripod first. We put the mount on top, screwed it in place, lined up the leg with north, compass north. We're going to have to do the difference in distance you mentioned, 18 degrees, I think you said. Then mounted the scope on the top. I balanced the scope in both axes. Sorry, put counter arm first, put the weight on, make sure the toe stopper's on there. Balance the scope in both directions with the OTA on, and all my accessories mounted on the scope that I plan on using that night.
Yep.
Now, if I was going to use a DSLR, I would have to rebalance, right?
Yep.
Because it would be a lot more weight hanging off one end. So.
Yep, absolutely. You nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. So that's basically setting up a German equatorial mount. And the only thing that's different from what you did from that than doing an alt-az mount setup is you don't, with an alt-az, you don't really have to point it north. And you don't have to balance. Most of those OTAs, the alt-az that you buy, like the 6SCs and so on, they come so that when you put them on, all you got to do is slide your tube back and forth to get the balance on them. But you only have to do it in one direction.
Right.
And other than that, you know, we're going to do a polar alignment. We'll do that next week.
Yep.
And you do a polar alignment on the German equatorial mount and not on the alt-az.
Okay.
On your EQ1 mount that you got in the background, you would do exactly the same thing you just did. There's no difference.
Right. So just quickly with that, same idea. Pull it out. There's I would point it north. There's my adjustments down here. Can't really see that, I guess. I should turn on my light there quickly, just real quick. A little better. Okay. So same thing. There's my position here, 45 degrees north, I guess. I would adjust here with two knobs. Same thing here. I would rebalance by loosening off clutch and allowing it to sit that way. I had to put two counterweights on this one to make it suit properly. And then again, in the other direction, this way. Right? If I found that wasn't in the right position, I can loosen the two clamps here, slide the tube back and forth. Tube will slide back and forth, allow me to rebalance. Also, when you're in a certain position, like if I'm here, trying to observe, that's where I end up wanting to observe, and the eyepiece as well. I can actually take those two clamps, loosen them up, spin the tube, allow me for a better view, right?
Yep.
And my finder scope again lined up with my eyepiece.
That'll actually, when you're using a reflector like that, that will actually give you a better balance too. Because if you've got all your eyepiece, or especially if you have a camera in it, and if you've got it coming off sideways instead of on top, then it's going to struggle a little bit with weight.
Okay.
Well done.
All good. All good.
That's awesome.
Good for questions and stuff.
Well, we have been told that we are allowed to now issue you a certificate.
Yay! Congratulations.
Gotta get set up here and practice a lot more first.
We get you through step one.
I'm not ready for star parties yet. Not with that one. Although it has manual clutches, so I can release it and just move around, try to find things just like the alt-az. That's
just like the alt-az, yeah.
Hey Chris,
like
that scope is a gem.
It's a gem,
yeah.
The only thing it doesn't have is slow motion controls. So there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off this feed. I guess I can turn it off. You guys can stay online. I'll be back upstairs.
You get back upstairs.
All right.
We'll see you inside. See you in a second.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What we can do is in any of the comments, we can read them and address them next week when we start. If anybody had any questions or anything on what we just did, we could definitely, take 5 minutes and go over that part of it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's fantastic. So for those out there who do have a German equatorial mount, hopefully by seeing what Chris went through, because Chris, like most of you out there, doesn't really have a lot of experience with the German Equatorial Mount. So he actually just learned right out there how to do this. So,
how to do it, yeah.
Yep.
I think it's only the second time that optical tube's been on that mount.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah, I never think of magnetic declination because I only use the observatory, and I never have to change anything.
No, I'm the same. Like for me to take a mount out now because it's been so long and set it up outside and then plug it all in and do all that, I'd be scratching my head for a couple of minutes, making just trying to remember all the steps.
Yeah.
Because when you have an observatory, you get so lazy, you just think about acquisition and processing, and you don't think about setup anymore. So
that's right. And at a star party, I just wait till it gets dark, find Polaris in the polar scope and give the leg a boot left or right if I have to line it up. A big boot for a big move and a small boot for a small move. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
You passed the test.
I did. Well,
I'm just stuck too.
I haven't written a test yet.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's good. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Put star map on the inside of your fencing. Yeah, I probably could or not. Yeah, anyway, I was just glad to advertise for James Taylor. That's all that matters.
There you go.
Yeah.
James will appreciate it.
He'll be back. He'll be back. He's coming in 2022. Now, there's 3 times he's canceled. They wouldn't let him in the country, apparently. I don't know whether it's just him that doesn't have the vaccine or somebody on his crew, probably. That is what it is. Okay, he'll be back. You got a friend. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. Indeed. Okay, let's go from there. Then we got a lot of you guys been answering comments and stuff here. I see a pile of them there. Wow. Yike.
Yeah, what we said is if there's any questions, we'll read through them.
Yeah.
And we'll take the first 5 minutes next week and answer those questions at the beginning.
Sounds good. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go with the vinyl bud then maybe next. How's that?
Okay. Throw this one over here. And we should have a bud.
We do.
We do.
Now, believe it or not, the Bino Target of the Week, and I look back at all the ones we've done, and I haven't done this one. So it's going to be so it was a surprise to me that I didn't do it. It is NGC 457, the Owl Cluster. So it's like who, and whom. Or he's known as E.T. or Wally to the younger folk.
Phone bill.
That's inevitable. NGC 457 is the brightest open cluster in Cassiopeia and one of the finest objects of its type in the northern sky. At magnitude plus 6.4, it's just beyond naked eye visibility, but easily seen with binoculars and a beautiful sight through telescopes. The brightest cluster stars are arranged in prominent lines and curves that resemble an owl in shape, or as most of us know it, ET, and hence the popular name, the Owl Cluster. So how do we find it in the sky? If you went out at midnight, and I'm still choosing midnight, oriented yourself with your compass, plus or minus 16.5 degrees or whatever it is, north-northeast 30 degrees, and look up, you'll see the W of Cassiopeia. And if you follow the bottom of that W in a straight line and just a little further, you would end up on NGC 457. It's pretty easy to find. It's not difficult at all. Again, if you look around and take your line and just draw it down, and a little bit below that, you're going to find NGC 457 or the Owl Cluster. What do you see? This is actually a photograph that I took on the left-hand side. And here it is drawn in to look like the owl, or how they get the owl shape out of it. We all see it as ET with the 2 big eyes, the arms reaching out, and the little legs coming down here at the bottom. But once you get on it with a pair of binoculars or a scope, you'll know you're on the cluster. There's no question about it. How does it look in a pair of 10 by 50s? It is a smaller object. It's not that big, but it definitely stands out from the stars in the background. If you were to compare it to the full moon, it's a little bit smaller than a full moon. Not much, but a little bit. And again, it's easily recognizable, not hard to see at all. And at the Martian star parties, they wear the T-shirt saying, "I believe."
They've even got binoculars.
They've got binoculars, yeah. And that's our binocular target of the week by Bino Bud.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Another great one.
Oh,
Another great target. So many of them.
I can't believe I didn't cover that before.
There's so many binocular targets. There's just it's amazing how many we can find. Not just the moon, but there's so many others. Just blows me away. See how many are out there.
Have you done Albino yet?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
I haven't.
Anything
really
in Cygnus, maybe? Or?
I haven't hit the double stars yet.
Nothing in Cygnus.
Yes, I did. I did M29 in Cygnus Cooling Tower.
You did that.
The one that nobody photographs because it's not pretty.
Yeah, true. Okay, from there we're going to go to, how about a Rosanna talk? And then we'll do some photos, and we'll wind up for tonight.
All right, let's see if we can't do this correctly this time, maybe.
Rosanna.
And
tonight it's time for
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Yay!
Rosanna, welcome back. Good to see you again. And as usual, Rosanna has another amazing fun fact for us this week. And this one's actually really kind of cool. I went through this one and I said, this is awesome. So basically she starts out by saying the word big has a definition stating of a considerable size, extent, or intensity, but how big something is actually a bit hard to define. Often it can only be described by comparison. So what is the answer to the question of what is the biggest and the brightest star in the universe? And there we go. First, a couple of caveats. We can't possibly see all the stars of galaxies. There are an estimated 70 sextillion. Now that's 70 plus 21 zeros stars spread over 2 trillion. That's 2 with 12 zeros galaxies in the space that we can possibly see, called the observable universe. So finding the biggest and brightest is only within these parameters. Meet R136A1, which we shall call Ray for short. Now, like Ray of sunshine, but upsized and supersized beyond all reason, Ray outshines our sun by 8.7 million times.
Wow.
Not being an astrophysicist, I have no idea how that was measured. So Ray is also the largest, tallest guy in the neighborhood, tipping the scale at 315 times the mass of our sun. We would have to describe this as humongous. So Ray is a Wolf-Rayet star. Now, a Wolf-Rayet star is a rare type of megagiant who continually pushes scorching gas from its mass into space and speeds in excess of 1,000 kilometers per second. Now, over hundreds of thousands of years, this gas accumulates in a bubble around the star that glows in the monochrome hues of hydrogen, nitrogen, and helium atoms that are so hot they are smashed up, to quote Lisa Harvey Smith. Ray is the star at the center of a star cluster, NGC 2070, which is in the center of the Tarantula Nebula, which is in the Large Magellanic Cloud in the southern hemisphere. Now, the Tarantula Nebula, I'm just going to show you a picture of that because it's kind of cool. The Tarantula Nebula is a common target for southern stargazers. Like a box of chocolates, there were so many glorious pictures, it was hard for me to find just one. That's the one she chose, and of course she chose Wilkes. Wow. I would love to be able to take a crack at imaging that. Now, although Ray is huge, much of Ray is invisible to us, as the bulk of its color can be described as ultraviolet. That means we can't actually see a lot of him. His gases are so hot that his light peak is beyond blue and invisible to our human eyes. But since stars emit a range of colors, some visible light is there, and what we can see, we perceive as blue. So if you find a Wolf-Rayet star fascinating, the easiest and brightest one to see in our northern hemisphere is in the NGC 6871, the open star cluster in the constellation Cygnus. Now, a cluster is dominated by a pair of double star systems with the very unmemorable names, considering one is SAO 69402, which is magnitude 6.77, SAO 69403, which is magnitude 7.36, and for the northern pair, an SAO 69405, which is a magnitude 7.86, and finally SAO 69404, which is a magnitude 8.86 for the southern pair. So for those who aren't familiar with magnitudes, basically it's the brightness that's perceived from a star, and as humans, we can see up to close to a magnitude 6. And we can, with binoculars, we can see up to about a magnitude 9. So every one of these stars that were pointed out are binocular able. You can see them in binoculars. So if you check out this week's Sky at a Glance, Rask, New Brunswick by Kurt Nason, you will see the tail of Cygnus to the upper right of Cepheus. And maybe if a clear night presents itself, you can grab a supersized coffee and search for the supersized Wolf-Rayet star, SAO 69402. It doesn't have the brightest and biggest champion belt like Ray, but it's right up there.
That's awesome.
And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome. Yay.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Rosanna.
That is just amazing.
She
That's awesome.
She did have to mention Cygnus, didn't she?
Of course.
I was waiting for 8675309.
Yeah. I have to say, hooray.
8675309. Yeah, hooray. Yeah. Hooray. Awesome.
Thank you, Rosanna.
Thank you, Rosanna.
I really, her fun facts are just getting better and better every
Oh,
time.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Great information and great entertainment.
Indeed.
Okay, let's. What are we at now? We're at time-wise.
54.
54. We've got about 6 minutes. Okay, so we'll get through some photos now that were sent in. Okay, let me get my notes here ready. I'm going to share my screen. Present now. Let's go with this one. And I want to do this screen. Okay, now we'll see what happens. Open with. There, are we all up?
Yes.
Great, okay. This one comes from Jeff. Jeff says, I'm pretty sure this is Barnard's galaxy. Believe it or not, I was trying to find the Eagle Nebula, but after finding this, I realized I was definitely in the wrong section of the sky. I eventually did find Eagles just before the clouds rolled in, shot with a 10mm on my Celestron Omni XLT 150 and my LG ThinQ cell phone. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Barnard's galaxy. I looked that up. That's the first time I've actually seen that. It was pretty impressive.
Amazing what you can do with a cell phone.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Good
getting
stuff.
better and better.
Good stuff. Emma, Emma sent this one in to us.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
She says
First quarter?
the smoking moon in Riverview
Smoking moon, yeah.
on August the 16th.
Yeah.
Look at that. And then she says, and then 15 minutes later, missed that one. Why'd it go by that? Oh, I went by that. Why'd it go by that?
No.
The second one was there. I see it right there in front of me, but it's not clicking on it. Hang on. No. Wow. They're in order, but it's not bringing it up.
Oh.
Anyway, there was another one. We'll go back. We'll see if it pops up later. It's even listed as number 3 photo, but it won't pop up. Anyway, there was another photo with moon and had no smoke around it at all. So Maybe it was inhaling at the time.
That old man in the moon, I'm telling you.
The old man in
He's
the
a
moon.
happy dude.
He's a happy dude. Wonder what he's inhaling. Yeah. This one came from David Smart. David says,
Well done, Dave.
nice moon shot there. Yeah. The trio. That's what I call the drunken snowman sitting there.
Well done.
Leads the way to the straight wall. Well done. Another nice shot. Look at the craters.
Yeah, I love that angle.
The definition is just. There's
Very
so
nice.
many craters. This South Pole, I guess. And he gave us one of Jupiter.
Jupiter. Very nice.
Well done.
Nice bands.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, David. Okay, we got this one from Kathy. Kathy says, "Hey, finally a clearish day. This was there was a very smoky haze, which I think caused greater than normal orange glow and a bit more fuzziness than usual. But there was a sunspot, and spaceweather.com did show several spots today. Hoping for more tomorrow." This is Kathy Adams.
Nice.
There you go, Kathy. A couple sunspots right there. Those are probably.
Yes, sir.
So we take 110 Earths, would take to line up across the face of the sun, 110. So I wonder how large these ones are. So
Hey, I bet you they're about the size.
A little bit bigger, maybe.
Yeah.
So 1.3 million Earths, 110 by 110 by 110 gives you 1.3 million roughly. Earths would fit inside the sun. Amazing. Yves Saint Germain sent this one in. Said, "Hi, Chris. I would say it's probably one difficult light bulb to replace there on top of the lighthouse."
That's the Acadian moon, eh?
That is.
That's cool.
I said the travel time to get there would be too much. I took the picture Thursday, he said, evening at Hay Island near Neguac.
Wow.
Nice shot.
That's
Perfect
cool.
timing.
Yeah.
The Acadian moon.
There you go.
Awesome.
Stefan Picard sent this in. "Hi, Chris. Here's my stacked image, 12 by 20 seconds of last week's M20 capture.
Terrific.
Yep.
Processed some of the red and added a little false colors in Photoshop until I'm fully proficient from Paul's tutorial." That'll come.
Now you're starting to get the dark lanes, man. It's coming nice.
Getting all right with it, yep.
Yeah.
Mastering it. Second shot is of Milky Way at Altair, 15-second exposure, ISO 3200, f3.5 with a 28mm lens at infinity focus.
Wow,
Amazed.
sharp stars.
Amazed and surprised at the richness of stars because I typically spend more time towards Sagittarius or Scorpius. There you go. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. Or the Cygnus Andromeda region. Oh, look at the stars.
Oh, I know.
Like
Unbelievable.
it's just every dot there is a star.
Yep.
It's crazy to think about how insignificant we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Not to depress anybody, but. And finally, the third is Vinyl Bed's target from last week, the double cluster in Perseus.
Double cluster, yes, sir.
There you
Hey,
go.
look at that.
Thanks for the inspiration, guys, he says. So there we are right there. Good stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done. Well done, Stefan. Okay, and up next we have Matthew Dupre sent these in. He says, yeah, Jupiter was taken last night in the Heart and Soul Nebula last week. I used a 9 1/4 telescope with a 3 times Barlow and an ASI 224 camera.
Right on.
Yeah, the Heart and Soul with a modified Canon and 50mm lens. We'll look at that in a second, but nice captures Jupiter. Well done.
Oh, the festoons and everything you see on that.
Yeah,
Eh?
did very well.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Well done.
And the red spot right there.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
I mean,
Fantastic.
like this is. I mean, these are people here that are not professional astronomers, but look at the stuff able to capture. It's just amazing how far technology's come.
Come a long way.
So satisfying for people who love
I mean, you
astrophotography.
couldn't even come close to that, say, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because the planetary stuff they were doing back in those days, unless you were, an actual observatory, I mean, a professional observatory, you
Exactly.
couldn't do it like that.
can you imagine stacking all those negatives?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and they did.
And then find out that you're blurry a little bit, and no. Yeah, taking a photo
And you didn't know what you had until after you got
Yeah.
the process.
That's it. I
There
mean,
you
looking
go.
at something like that, and then getting home and all those hours out there, and going home and saying, "Oh no, it didn't turn out." But
Very nice.
look at this, yeah, Heart and Soul.
Very
Look at that, the double
Well done.
cluster, the
Yeah.
heart, soul.
He did this with a modified Canon camera and a 50mm lens.
That's covering a lot of sky.
That is,
There you
yeah.
go. Fantastic.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
We got this one from Renat. Renat says, "Here's my photo of the almost full moon on Saturday, August 21st. was taken in Back Bay outside my studio at about 9:30 p.m. with my iPad just before it disappeared into the overcast cloud and fog. I always like the moon light reflection in the level water surface with the moon. It's like painting a person's cast shadow, which seems so magically anchored to the seems to magically anchor the figure in time and space for us to enjoy, for sure.
Fantastic.
Love that. Hey, Kathy says that's a camera I'm looking at, the ASI 224. It's like there you go, Kathy. So there's a sample of what you can capture.
They're a good camera. That's
Yeah.
I've got one. Very good camera for planetary.
Awesome. Very nice, Renat. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes.
We got this one from Jane. Yeah, no, Jamie, why not? Yep. She's, hi, Chris.
Wow.
I took these photos. Yeah, awesome, eh?
Well done.
Wow.
I took this of the first quarter moon last Sunday night, as well as a photo of Saturn. So I'll get to that in a second here. It was a nice clear night, she said, finally. Yeah, finally. We haven't had too many of them.
Yeah.
It's been a disappointing month for sure, as far as weather goes, but we're hoping for September. Will be nicer, but look at that. Yeah. Very nice. Well done.
Mountains, yeah, beautiful.
And from there, we're going to go to, here's your shot of Saturn.
Oh,
nice.
Nice, huh?
Look at the rings.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well done.
Wow.
Well done, Jamie. Thanks for sharing that. And Jane Love sent this one in from, she said, the moon over Peniac at 9:30 on Friday night. Look at that.
Yeah, it was red, wasn't it?
It was.
Redder than red, yeah.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Tomato moon.
It must have been a lot of that smoke coming down.
Must have been a lot of smoke, yeah.
Because I noticed when the sunset was the same thing.
Right.
It was really red. You know, we still had, probably 8-10 degrees to go before it dropped in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, amazing. It does give some, shame for the smoke, but it does give some amazing images for sure.
Absolutely.
And there's another one from Jamie. Oh, okay, and this one here I got from Marianne Mitten. Marianne says, I got this picture of Jupiter and the moon a few minutes ago. This is last evening, so.
Excellent.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go. And when I went out later last night, about 1:30 in the morning, I know I shouldn't have been up then, but it was, 1:30 in the morning, I could see Jupiter just straight above the moon here.
Almost straight up, yeah.
Yeah, right up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the moon's moving a lot slower across the sky than the sky itself, I guess, so.
When we left the beach, it was almost straight up, I think.
Yes. We got these from Patty Millette. We know Patty. Patty sent this one in with moon, and then the next one up is moon and Jupiter she had together here.
Yeah.
And then she sent us in one of Sagittarius down here. In the
Yes,
corner.
sir.
Yeah.
They almost look like knocked loose in clouds.
They
I
do.
know they're not, but they got that look, don't they?
They do, yes. And a beautiful sunset there.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And another red moon she had on Friday night.
Excellent.
Well done.
Awesome.
Love them.
And finally, we're getting down to Brenda. Brenda Baird sent these in. Thought I would share some moon pics as seen from here in Oromocto tonight.
Yes, sir.
She's pretty amazing. She said this is 5 days ago. Yeah. Wow,
Wow.
well done.
Very nice.
Getting better and better.
Lots
Nice
of detail.
Apennine Mountains. Look at that.
Yeah, love that, Dave. That's a
Beautiful.
beautiful spot. Yeah, and there's Eratosthenes right there. I know that guy. That's one I know.
Yes, you do.
There's
I
Plato
can't
up
even
there.
pronounce that.
Yeah, Eratosthenes. It's a pretty cool name. And here's where Apollo 15 kind of landed right in here in Hadley Rill. There's Plato up here in the corner. Eratosthenes was the guy who calculated the circumference of the Earth using 2 sticks and someone who walked the distance between Alexandria and Syene for him. He paid a guy to pace the distance between Alexandria and Syene. And
He didn't stop for any beer on the trip.
he didn't at all, no. But he measured the straight line, and he found out the angle that the sun was hitting on 2 obelisks on one end, or 2 sticks basically, on one Alexander, one Syene, on June 21st, the summer solstice. And he calculated that angle as being so many degrees, and measured that down to the center of the Earth, wrote 7 degrees, took that distance that he calculated out, that the gentleman walked, and then multiplied that by 50, I guess, would make you up into a circle, and that calculated roughly the distance of the circumference of the Earth to within a few percent over 2,000 years ago, using 2 sticks and someone to walk the distance for you. So pretty cool. So that's why that crater sticks out for me, Eratosthenes. Right over there would be Copernicus too. So really nice, good shots. All very well done. Thank you, everybody, for those. And if you'd like to send in your photos, we'd like to get them. I love sharing them here, so you can send them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com, or just send them into my Facebook page. I pick them up there a lot off of messages that people send me and comments that people put on my page. So always really happy to share them and always enjoy seeing them. So thank you. Here we go.
Nice.
Well, I guess that's going to be our show, huh?
It is.
So we did have a comment here. John Parniak is asking, can you also run through the same explanation as we did, but using a wedge? So could we talk about that maybe next week? How to do the same thing, but having something set up on a wedge? Maybe Mike, one of you guys might have something that.
Yeah, I think Mike does.
I don't have a wedge.
No, okay.
I thought you had one.
Well, you got all week to buy one.
I had a Meade LX90.
Okay.
That was my second scope. I got rid of that years ago.
Oh, you have to buy
No, I
one.
thought you had a Success E or something. That was.
Come on, you got to do something for the show. So can you pick up one by next week?
I know someone who's got one.
I'll slap two pieces of plywood together and make a wedge.
There you go. Okay.
Exactly. There you
That's
go.
it. That'll work too. Okay, well, thanks everybody. So let's say then in closing tonight, again, thanks again for your continued support for all of us here. We really do appreciate it. It's such a pleasure to be able to bring a show like this, to actually get outside physically, practically working on stuff. For me, it was great because I get to learn how to use a scope now. Hey, I'm still a little bit shy, but we'll see. These guys will work on it. Remember, next week's show now will be a continuation from this week, so we'll have some more talk about the same type of thing, maybe some accessories, that type of thing as well. If you have anything in particular you want us to talk about next week, though, let us know. That fits into our topic, and we'll try to include it in our broadcast. Our special thanks again to Rosanna for her continued contribution to our show. Thank you, Rosanna. We really do appreciate all your efforts here in helping us put the show on. Also like to say thanks to all those who share our program with others, including Trudy, for sure. Also, New Brunswick Storm Weather Center, Sean there, he shares it with his following quite often, so thank you, Sean, as well. And everybody else, of course, who shares it. The more that you share it out there, the more that we don't have to pay to have it shared out, which is something I don't want to do with Facebook. So anyway, we really do appreciate you getting the word out. And remember, we do love getting your photos, so send them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. And we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. We're also looking for topics for future shows. We've got these next few weeks lined up, but leading past that again, we're still looking for topics. We're going to start getting into some dark skies, hopefully, guys. Fingers crossed that we'll get a clear sky night on a Sunday night. Odds have been against us. I know, and we're coming up to our 100th anniversary show here very soon. So I think this makes 95 shows right now. So we'll have to do something special for our 100th show. Unbelievable, yeah.
Wow.
So we're looking for topics for future shows as well. So if you have anything that you'd like us to discuss on future episodes, please send a request to the same address, SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to make them happen.
We got to do a blooper reel.
Blooper reel would be good. I could probably go back. We could fill a whole hour of that, I'm sure. Whoops, we went offline again. Well, we're back. Especially the first dozen or so shows. It was like,
that was so
I go back and look at them now. Like, that's live. Also, ask you that if you enjoyed the content here tonight and you joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a subscribe and like with our channel. And please let your family and friends know, too, that we are here every Sunday night at the same time to entertain and educate you a little bit on the night sky. So for now, then, from Mike and Paul and I, stay safe, everybody out there. We wish you all clear skies, and we hope to see you again here next week. And as we like to say, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Yep.
Awesome, everybody. Have a great week.
Yes.
Music, please. Here we go. Only him. Good night, everybody.